She just wanted to take the train to the airport. But she didn't expect to see her husband, who had been dead for 5 years, by mistake. The woman froze in her tracks in shock. How could anyone in the world look so much alike? So she reassured herself that she must have been mistaken. But the moment the man took off his sunglasses, the woman who had been with him for many years instantly recognized him as her husband. Seeing the love of her life in front of her, Gina couldn't think straight. She rushed forward to join him, but the scene in front of her suddenly stopped her in her tracks. She saw that her husband not only had 3 children, beside him was a woman who looked almost exactly like her. Looking at the strange scene in front of her, Gina was in a state of shock and panic. She didn't know what was going on, but she could deeply feel that the whole thing was full of weirdness. But before she could catch her breath, the man and his family got into the limousine outside in a hurry. Gina panicked and rushed to the taxi. Wanted to catch up and get a better look, but she didn't realize that the car had already been reserved by another customer. By the time she got into another taxi, the man and his family had already disappeared. Though she knew that this was a very strange thing to happen, Gina was convinced that she couldn't be mistaken for her husband. So she took out her mobile phone in a panic, and excitedly looked up her husband's social media accounts. But when she clicked on the man's page, the scene in front of her eyes once again shocked her dumbfounded. Her husband's friends circle was full of her life in recent years. She had seen her husband die in a traffic accident, but now he reappeared unharmed. He had even started a family with a woman who looked like him. Gina couldn't help but feel a chill down her spine at the thought, so she rushed home. In order not to attract her mother's attention, Gina locked herself into the bathroom. Then she excitedly looked through her husband's friends' circle again, trying to find some clues from them. I didn't expect that after a while of careful searching, I really found the avatar of the mysterious woman in my husband's followers list. It's easy to tell from the woman's many social updates. She was very keen to use the internet to record the beauty of her life. Her posting history details her journey with her husband from meeting him to marriage to parenthood, all of which Gina had never realized. Gina had never realized, but dreamt of. Although the man in the photo looked exactly like her dead husband, but knowing about his past with the mystery woman, Gina's heart still wondered, what if there really are people in the world who look exactly the same? Remembering how she felt when she received the news about her husband, Gina was once again devastated. But just when she was trying to convince herself to accept the reality of losing her lover, the mysterious woman in the circle of friends in the early years of a dynamic but once again let Gina heart in the throat. She posted a childhood photo on her mobile phone. It was exactly the same as the photo of herself on the piano. Gina was instantly scared out of her wits. She asked her mother if she had a twin sister, but after seeing her daughter's strange behavior. But when she saw her daughter's strange behavior, her mother thought she was talking nonsense because she was too sad. She had no choice but to let her rummage through the cupboards. And it wasn't until she found those long-forgotten old photos. Gina then had to believe that she was the only child in her family. What happened to her was unexplainable. But to her surprise, when she saw her childhood diary, things became even more confusing. Reading about her childhood dream of having 3 children in the future, Gina's eyes widened in shock. Wasn't the woman who was now by her husband's side the one who gave birth to his 3 children? Did she really take away the perfect life that should have been hers? Thinking about this, Gina couldn't help but fall into deep doubt. All these questions remained unanswered in her mind for a long time. So Gina plucked up the courage to send a private message to the woman's account, hoping to get a reasonable explanation. But unexpectedly the other party directly blocked the stranger's message. Looking at the video of the woman's happy appearance, Gina deeply lamented the injustice of fate. At that moment, a bold idea came to her mind. So she didn't have time to think. Gina hurried to the nearest hairdresser's shop. She lied that her mobile phone was her old self. She hoped that the hairdresser could help her to recreate her old look. After a series of dazzling operations, even Gina herself found it hard to believe. After changing his hairstyle, he looked exactly like that mysterious woman. This also strengthened her determination to find out the truth. Following her husband's latest location information, Gina soon arrived at a high-class restaurant. Sure enough, not far from the door, she saw her husband and the mysterious woman. She saw the woman get up and go into the bathroom. Gina knew she had a chance, so she hurriedly chased after her. She wanted to get some clues from the woman, but she didn't expect to see Gina, who looked exactly like herself. But she didn't show the slightest surprise. She even teased Gina that she looked like a poorer version of herself.
Ты меня забанила. Правильно сделала. Отвали, иначе я позову охрану.
With a loud bang, the woman was instantly knocked to the ground. The kind-hearted Gina quickly ascertained that her life was not in danger. She rushed to her husband's side and hugged her long-lost love tightly. Seeing his wife suddenly become so excited, the man instantly became puzzled. Gina quickly explained that she was just playing a disguise to surprise him. The husband nodded his head. He didn't show the slightest suspicion, seeing that he could get away with it. Gina immediately drank a glass of red wine. However, at that moment, she noticed that the incident in the toilet seemed to have been discovered. So she hurriedly took her husband and left the place, but she didn't realize she was so drunk. Before she could ask her husband what happened, "I fell asleep on the way." When she woke up again, Gina was lying on a bed in a mansion. The familiar smell of her husband's body still lingered on the cushion beside her. Looking at the breakfast brought by her husband, then she looked at her children who were laughing and playing beside her. Gina felt that the happiness came too suddenly. It really caught her by surprise, but it didn't take long for Gina to fall in love with the dreamlike luxury of everything in front of her. She could not help but feel happy in her heart. She was finally living the life she'd dreamed of since she was a little girl, but she didn't realize the problems that would soon follow. Because she hadn't experienced the children's growing up process, Gina realized she couldn't fit in at all. This made her feel helpless and inferior. Not only that, in order not to reveal her faults, Gina had to go to the woman's flat and take her place. Looking at the staff profile on the wall, Gina was surprised to find out that the woman was an executive of the company. So she had to suppress her inner nervousness, pretended to be relaxed and started a meeting with her subordinates. But she didn't realize that she hadn't revealed herself. Even her casual jokes are met with strong approval from her subordinates. This made her, who came from a poor background, feel the vanity of being praised for the first time in her life. Seeing this, Gina couldn't help but feel happy in the bottom of her heart. The feeling of having a high social status was so beautiful. When she got home, Gina shared the success of her work with her husband. The man was also proud of his wife. Everything seemed to be on track, but before he could be happy, the real mistress of the mansion came to the door. Looking at each other in front of them, they looked exactly the same. They were both at a loss for words. After a short exchange, they were shocked to learn that they had the same experience since birth. It was only when their husbands were involved in a car accident that their two lives were gradually shaped into two very different lives. Though neither of them knew why another person had appeared out of nowhere, but they quickly agreed on one thing: that her husband and children must not know about this strange and bizarre incident. In a moment of urgency, Gina did not think twice. She locked the woman in the bathroom. She was going to put the children to bed first, then open the door to negotiate with her. But she didn't realize that the woman, who had been attacked twice before, was not an easy target. Without giving Gina a chance to explain, she threatened her with a knife and dragged her into a hidden storeroom, and tied her firmly to a chair. Then she left in a huff, leaving Gina staring helplessly. The next morning came. Her husband took the children out for breakfast as usual. After struggling all night, Gina finally kicked down the tiles. She undid the tape and sneaked into the room. When the woman was not there, she hurriedly put on her trousers and jumped down from the second-floor balcony, trying to escape from this weird place. But the woman caught him red-handed.